Hey guys, it's 2Scoops back again with Sonic Academy. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Manipulator in two parts. The first video I'll be explaining an overview of the plugin, and in the second video I'll be showing examples of how I personally use the plugin in the real world and in my sessions. Manipulator is a great effects and modulation plugin by Infected Mushroom and Polyverse. It allows you to manipulate pitch, formants, harmonies, timbre, and a lot of other parameters to the point of making glitches from any sound. On top of that, it has a lot of great presets that come with it if you're just trying to flip sounds in your projects. To start, I'm going to go through each of the parameters of the plugin and explain their uses and how they correlate with one another. As you can see here, there's a pitch knob that allows you to shift the pitch between a total of 4 octaves. Next is the Formant knob. This knob allows you to alter the tonality of a sound without affecting the pitch. Both linked together enable you to do clean pitch shifts effectively. Next, we move on to the ratio and FM knobs, which correlate with the harmonics knob. These come in handy if you're trying to achieve growl basses or give your samples or vocals more grit or a different texture. Adjusting these can even change the sound completely if utilized in that sort of way. I'm just going to run this loop that I made through Manipulator and see what sorts of sounds I can make using the pitch, formant, ratio, harmonics, and FM knobs. This is my original sound. So I'm just going to pitch this up. So we're going to bring down the ratio here, bring the harmonics up. You see it's kind of affecting the tonality. Not completely distorting the sound. Along with those, there are also the alternator and octave knobs that also correlate. If used in moderation, the octave knob can function as an octaver or octave shifter to add lower harmonics or textures to your sound. But if pushed further and the alternator is more present, this can create very glitchy and interesting textures. And I'll just kind of show that here. I'll move back to the init patch. Just gonna push this up a little bit. So you get that octaver type sound, it's like a lower octave. But if we push the alternator, you get the glitches. As you can see here, there's a glide knob that acts as if the sound is on a mono synth glide setting, along with a mute button to toggle on and off the glide. So I'll kind of just show that here. It's not the most efficient for every sound, but if you have kind of a mono sounding like vocal or something, it can definitely work well for that. Alongside that, we also have the smear parameter. This freeze frames the sound in real time depending on how dry or wet the signal is. There's also a stereo parameter that works similarly to a dimension expander. I'm just going to kind of show you guys both of those and how they work. So the smear one first and the stereo second. Just kind of stretching the sound a bit. Kind of gives it this tail. See if you pull it really long. Kind of freeze frame it there. Yeah, the stereo width here is actually much more preferable for me than a dimension expander because of how wide it can actually make the sound. So if you're trying to achieve a really wide bass sound, this is really handy for that. They definitely tapped into that really well. And after that, we have a detune, and it kind of works similarly to a synth with multiple voices that are being detuned from one another, similar to like a super saw or something. So I'll kind of play that as well. You really detune it. Back to normal. So below we have 4 inserts. These come in handy if you're trying to automate multiple knobs at the same time. Manipulator gives you 5 options between a meta knob, which basically is just a single knob for automations, a follower, which works as an automatic envelope with attack and release. They also give you an ADSR insert, which similarly to the follower, gives you attack, decay, sustain, and release, but can only be triggered via MIDI input. There's a MIDI setting that allows you to assign the note, velocity, pitch wheel, mod wheel, and aftertouch of your controller or MIDI signal as an effector for each of the manipulator's parameters. Lastly, they give you the sequencer insert, which basically is just an LFO shaper that you can assign to each knob. I just wanted to quickly show you guys an example of how I would use the different inserts here and just kind of how they work. So we'll kind of just do it in sort of a random manner. So I'll turn this on. I'm going to switch it to a meta knob just to kind of show you guys how we're going to start here. So I'll just loop this. I'll start by putting this up. Just do it on everything. As you can see, it's kind of making everything move at once. Kind of adjust some of these more moderately. So next I'm going to insert a follower to show you guys what the follower does here. And I'm going to assign and basically push these up here. So let's see. On a side note, these colors indicate the different inserts and to what extent you're pretty much assigning them to. So basically how dry or wet the signal is. That sounds too insane. So I'm gonna pitch this down a little bit. Okay, let's add some width there for my own sanity. I'm gonna add ADSR to this one. Really messing with the sound here. This time I'm gonna input some MIDI to this so we can kind of get this going here. So send this to this, and we're gonna send it to the actual, let's see. You can tell it's triggering on and off that. Some more attack going on there. And lastly, I am going to add the sequencer. This sound is kind of getting out of hand crazy, but you can kind of see with the more and more we add to this how much you can actually affect the sound, how in depth you can go with Manipulator. You can change the shape, make it sharper, draw these in here. Make it go out of control and make it really twitchy. As you can tell, it makes great use for random glitch sounds if you kind of just mess with it enough. I personally love glitches, so this is a great plugin for myself. One thing I personally love about Manipulator is its automatic built-in harmonizer. A harmonizer, similarly to a vocoder, synthesizes vocals into harmonies if MIDI is being inputted into it. This gives a very robotic feeling harmony, but still stays native to the original vocal or sample sound. As you can see here, we have our mono and polyphonic and gate MIDI settings, as well as some range optimization. I'm going to show you guys how to set up a harmonizer now. So to enable the harmonizer, it's as simple as just adding a MIDI track and setting the output to the manipulator. So we'll just do that here. And I'm just going to play this through and make sure that the manipulator is on. and I'll play some chords. Obviously that's not in the same key, but just for some example there. So basically you can just direct input MIDI in here, which will give you clean harmonies that are really cool. It's very image and heap sounding. So and you can tell because it's really good quality sounding on this particular loop, which isn't the best loop, but you can tell the quality of the actual chords coming through are very pure. So yeah, Manipulator is another personal favorite of mine, especially for sound design and vocal manipulation. Stay tuned for the next video where I will be showing how I personally use Manipulator in some real-world examples. Peace.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting, and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.